Hey up everyone, my name is Hutch and I hope you're doing alright. So I did another build with the new Cottage Living expansion pack, and this time I went for a larger farm type build. I needed a new home for my sim self and the plan was to make an affordable farmhouse, but I got a little bit carried away and ended up making this not quite affordable farmhouse. It's not that expensive, it's less than 100,000 simoleons, but yeah, it's not as cheap as I planned for it to be. But I called it Dream Farmhouse because it's sort of designed for my own needs. So I've included an office instead of a second bedroom, and I put in like this sort of like gaming setup, an art studio and a room for cross stitching. So it's not really intended for a family, but you could change the office into a bedroom if you wanted to. So yeah, this house is built on a 50 by 40 lot, and I built it on the, I think it's number 2 Old Mill Lane. That's in old New Henford. It has 1 bedroom and 2 bathrooms, but like I said, you can alter the upstairs office and have that as a bedroom if you want to. You could even fit a bed in the art studio as well, so it has potential to be a 3-bedroom house if you wanted. And to be fair, with it being a big lot, I thought I'd really struggle to fill it because I didn't really want like a massive house, but it was alright really. I knew I wanted a decent sized pond and like plenty of space for the animals and a place to farm. And yeah, I think I did alright using the space that I've got. I did forget to record myself making the pond though. I double checked for the footage and I couldn't find it, but I show like how I did it, kind of putting the hole there and filling it with water, but I just didn't show like all the plants and stuff and the outside and the details and all that kind of thing. But I'm going to do a build soon where I use the pond tool quite a lot, so if you've been struggling with it, hopefully that video helps. But it can be quite tricky to use in my opinion, but I think it's one of those things that once you get the hang of it, it's pretty straightforward. So I've already made a start on the landscaping, and I cut out bits and pieces here and there because it gets a little bit boring with it being so repetitive, and there's a lot of like going back and forth between the regular build by catalogue and then debug mode, because a lot of the plants from Cottage Living are actually in the debug menu rather than in like the regular build mode. But I wanted quite like a large farming area where my sims can like grow crops and that, and whilst I've been playing with this park I spend quite a lot of time outside, so I figured it had to look nice seeing as I'll be looking at that a lot. So I wanted it to just like look like it's been sort of left to grow, but also like the plants have been specifically chosen, if that makes sense. I mentioned it in my last video, and obviously I've just said it now, but like I am finding the going between debug and stuff like annoying. It's just like time consuming and you've got to scroll to find the objects. And I've only built with the Cottage Living using Cottage Living and just base game, so I only have to like check Cottage Living off on the filter and then I just type in debug and search. But I can imagine if you've got like more than like 3 packs, going through debug menu and like clicking the filters and stuff, it's going to be even more annoying. And because I have like all the packs now, it's like I can just already imagine I'm going to get frustrated with it. I also end up altering that right hand corner. There's just some plants that I put down, but then eventually I removed them and make like a little parking spot for one of the debug cars, just because I thought it would add a little bit of something extra to the build and make it look a bit more interesting. But I do that after I furnish the inside, which should be coming up in a couple of minutes. So how is everyone doing then? How are you all getting on? I had my second jab on Saturday and I've got to be honest, it's proper knocked like the shit out of me. Almost quite literally actually. But yeah, Saturday evening my arm was like basically dead and not functional. But then further on into night I started feeling like really cold and I were like really fatigued and I was shaking and that. Even though I felt cold though, I was proper sweating. So I checked my temperature and it was like 38.9 or something. In Celsius, I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but yeah, I went to bed and the following day I just stayed upstairs and slept for most of the day. I'm okay now, I just feel a bit weak because I've not had much to eat, but I'll be alright. It's worth it in the end, isn't it? But I've also got like an ulcer, and when I talk it like rubs against my teeth, so That's nice. But anyway, we're just moving on to the interior now, and I went for quite a simple look for the interior because this house is intended for my sim self, and I don't like tons of stuff everywhere and loads of clutter. I like some decoration, but I don't want loads. Plus, if you lived on a farm, where would you like find time to clean around all that stuff and like decorative items and that? I know you don't actually play like that in The Sims, but there's no up with a bit of realism, is there? I also furnished and decorated the bathrooms off camera just because it's like a bit of a waste of time because it's a bathroom. I did one upstairs and one downstairs. And you know what else I find a bit annoying? And don't get me wrong, this pack is my favourite out of all of them, even better than Seasons, which is saying a lot for me. But that dresser that I placed that has like the mirror on it, the mirror that's on it isn't actually usable, which I guess makes sense in terms of like the item, because we don't even have like a dresser that has a mirror on it, so it's just a dresser. So they'd have to make a whole like entire new object for something like that. But then it's like, well, why include it then? Or why not separate the mirror from the dresser? I don't know, it's just a bit daft really. But yeah, put in like that little bench in the bedroom as well because I wanted to add a bit more like yellow to match the bed. And there's this basket that I put down that I include in a couple of the rooms actually because I just think it's really cute and it's probably one of my favourite items of the entire pack. Then for the office, I imagine this is where I'd record my videos, even though The Sims won't actually do that without that media production thingy, whatever it's called from Get Famous. But my sim can always just use this room to play games at the computer because she's a geek sim, and I figured for those that want to like download this build, you might have sims working from home as writers or programmers or whatever, and they might just have like a use for a home office. And again, if you wanted to turn it into a bedroom, it's big enough for you to be able to do that. I then added some decorative stuff to make it feel more suited to my sim self, and I added some of those My Sims trophies because I like to pretend that they're like pop figures. Which, speaking of pop figures, my partner ordered me a Pride Deadpool, and yeah, no, I gave into Pride marketing like full, but I like Deadpool, and when I saw the rainbow one, I really wanted it. But yeah, my partner got it me in like May, and it just arrived like yesterday, which I don't know why I brought that up, but it just reminded me of it. But yeah, just placing those down now and place that basket again just because I think it looks really cute. And then I closed off the porch bit and figured this would be where you'd like come in from being on the farm and you'd wipe your boots off and that. And this is just like the little art studio, not really a studio, more like an art cupboard, but it's big enough for your Sims to paint. And because my Sim's job before she quit to become a farmer was in the painting career, and she's a creative Sim, I figured that she'd need a place to paint. But like I said, you could just turn this room into whatever you wanted. A spare bedroom if you wanted, or whatever you want for your own Sims. Then for the kitchen, I wanted to go with the white swatch in the for the counters, because I think that's something that I'd personally have for my own home. And it's only a small kitchen, but it does the job. And I also included a second counter for making tea. And do you know what as well? What a missed opportunity for the Sims team. They could have easily made that decorative teapot a functional one. I say easy, like I know anything about making stuff for a game, but they could have added like an electric kettle or something to the pack, considering it's inspired by like the English countryside and whatever. And in England, we usually make our tea by like boiling water in like an electric kettle, not a tea maker. I don't know anybody that owns a tea maker actually. Like I wouldn't even know where to even buy one from. But yeah, I always add that to my builds because I like my Sims to drink tea. But I wish they would bring out like an all-in-one type thing. Like if they did add a kettle to this pack, it could have been used for both, like to make tea and coffee. But never mind. Speaking of tea, I could probably do one now. I'm actually recording this at like 8:30 at night, even though I've had all day to record because I've not really been doing anything, but I've only really just started to feel up to it, even though I do like feel better. I don't know, I've just got like this swollen feeling in my throat and then that ulcer, which is like annoying. I don't even know how I got that. But yeah, I've sort of put it off like all day, and now I'm having to do it like last minute, so I'll have to record quickly, edit it down, bang it on the video and then export it as quick as I can and then upload it because I want to get it up today. But yeah, Well, I just started to feel better, so if you hear like a bit of a raspiness in my voice, I've not really had a cough or anything. I think it's just because I've not talked much, because I've just been feeling sorry for myself, so I've not wanted to like talk, and I've not had much to eat and drink, so I'm probably a bit dehydrated. Anyway, I'm rambling now, so just added some finishing touches to the kitchen and just make it look a little bit more personal. And I said it in my last video, I think, but I'm a bit disappointed that they didn't add any new artwork with this pack. I think there could have been some really nice paintings of like the countryside or of some of the animals or something. They would have made like a really nice addition to the pack, but never mind. I suppose you have the cross-stitching things that you can hang up. But yeah, I've been saying for about, 6 months now that I plan on taking photos of the worlds and like uploading them to the gallery. And at this point, I'm just not going to say it anymore because I don't think it'll happen this year. In fact, you know what I am? I'm going to do it. I'm going to take my sim out tomorrow and get her to paint from reference and make a few paintings of Henford-On-Bagley, and I'll upload them to the gallery. If I say it in a video, maybe that will like force me to actually do it, though I think I've done that before and then immediately forgot what I said after I posted the video. Someone should put it in a comment, just put like, Hutch, why don't you do some paintings and upload them to the gallery, and then I won't ignore that then, because it's like the motivation is external rather than internal. Anyway, we're doing the living room now. Well, we've just finished it, but I just wanted it to be like quite basic, I suppose. I think with a lot like this, I'm not going to be spending too much time inside anyway, but it's nice to have a place for your Sims to like hang out if they have people come over. And then I added the like teapot thing, the decorative teapot and some teacups. And then for the cross-stitching room, I found these on the gallery. I can't remember where I got them from because I didn't write it down, but I got these finished ones off the gallery. I thought it'd be cool to hang these up in here, and these are some of like my favourite ones. My sim has started with the cross-stitching skill, but I just didn't really, I was going to say I didn't have time. I couldn't be bothered to make them, to put them in here, but yeah. But yeah, going back to that living room bit, I just wanted to have a space just for Sims to like hang out and stuff. And I have thought about putting like my actual family, like I've made a Sim version of my family, like my parents and my brothers. I've thought about putting them into the world, but I don't know. I don't like the possibility of their like Sim versions dying. I just can't cope with it, so I always play with aging off when I'm playing with my Sim self and any Sims that are meant to be like people that I know in real life. But I was playing with my Sim self a few weeks ago actually, shortly after I did that cast video where I gave her like a makeover and I put my family into the world, and I think I visited like my mum's house and my dad died because he froze to death, and as soon as the camera like panned over to him turning into an ice cube, I just exited to the main menu and like deleted the save because I just thought, oh no, I'm not dealing with that. But yeah, it's proper horrible. I don't like that because I don't like die of old age in my games. Obviously if you play with aging off, but they can die due to like any other reason if they're like near you, I suppose. And it's very rare that I have Sims die just like randomly, and I just thought it was weird that it happened to be a Sim version of my dad. So yeah, proper I was like no, and like turned it off, and I was just like, I'm not doing that, I'm not playing with them, and started again, and then just didn't put them in the world. So I'll have to like eventually overcome my fear of like my family dying through the Sims. But yeah, anyway, we're just doing the outside bit now, and for this I were gonna put like some plants all over the walls and stuff, but the walls are pretty, like there's a lot of them, so I decided not to. And I don't know if this is like, I think it is an old glitch, but when I was first building this house, where I was deciding to like put a gate, say if I put the gate on one part of the fence and then I thought, oh no, I'm not putting it there, and I moved it, it would make that part of the fence like invisible, so it would get rid of it. And the only way to like correct it was to either like reload the lot, but then sometimes that didn't work, so I think that might be an old glitch, but I've never noticed it before, so just keep an eye out for that if you've not seen that before. I don't know if a patch has like made it worse, or the expansion pack's made it worse, but like I said, I've never noticed it, so yeah, I don't know what's going on with it, but it's really annoying when you're like building, because I didn't notice it at first either. So like I built part of the house, and then like I realised, why is the gaps in the fence, and then when I went to correct it, it's as though the fence is still there, but it's just invisible, so yeah. And then I'm just placing down some more plants and like decorative items, and I wanted a space for the like the rabbits and like the birds and stuff, so I just did that here with like these plants. And I wanted I like the animals to have quite a lot of space, but I feel a bit guilty that they've not got proper loads, even though they don't like roam or anything, they just stand there. The chickens do a bit of roaming, they'll like walk around, but the cow and the llama, they just basically stand there and like walk like back and forth a bit, which makes me feel bad. Like I would prefer them to have loads of room, but the pixels, I need to not get too attached to them, they're not real. But yeah. I'm just adding some finishing touches, and we're just about to get on to, I think we're going to do the pond in a second. And like I said, I forgot to record the landscaping for the pond. I don't even know what happened. I thought I were recording it, but I double checked all my footage and it wasn't there, so yeah, I'm not really sure what happened with that. But yeah, then I put this like, what is it even called? Like I guess just like a platform or like a mini bridge or decking or something, or dock, whatever, I don't know, but it's just like a bit of wood, like a wood platform over the pond, which your Sims can like walk and sit on the end of it. That sounded weird, but yeah, they'll sit on a bench at the end of like the platform, and you'll see that in the screenshots at the end. Actually, I get my Sim to do that just to kind of show that it works and stuff. The only thing is they won't like fish from it. What they'll do to fish is they'll go and stand in like a certain spot where I've left a little bit of a gap where there's like not as much landscaping, but sometimes they'll just randomly fish at a random spot, and the fishing line will go through the platform. I'm not really sure why that happens. I think it's because it counts as a second floor thing, because I lowered it from like the second floor, but either way, it's a functional pond. And when, I don't know if the fish in it will upload to the gallery, but I did put some in it when I was playtesting the build. And then this is where I put the I don't know what it's called, truck, the car, like the pickup truck, just because I figured it would make the build look nice, and I really wish they were functional, but they're not. But I have heard like a few rumours that it could be on the way, like having cars similar to how they are in The Sims 2, but I'll believe it when I see it. I don't like to get my hopes up, although I'm not really too bothered about cars. I don't mind having them as decorative things, but yeah, I'm not really that bothered. But anyway, we're coming to the end of the video now, and there'll be some screenshots. Let me know what you thought of the build and what you thought of the video. If you want to download this build, it'll be on the gallery. My ID is SimsHutch, and that's in the description as well. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and consider subscribing if you want to. Hope you have a good day, and I'll see you later. Bye!